Hopefully the sign-in sheet's going around.
It's going around.
Okay.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Darcy, if you would call the roll, please.
Moore.
Here.
Marr.
Here.
Moody.
Here.
Engstrom.
Here.
Engelhardt.
Here.
All right, thank you. Item 3 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody at the table, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item 4 then is perfection and approval of the agenda. I got one thing to we'll take off is Ben Garrett's number 9. We'll take that one off. We haven't heard from him yet this month. I'll get a hold of him and see what's going on. So we'll take number 9 off. Other than that, is there a motion for perfection and approval of the agenda? Larry, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Say no, carried. All right. Item 5 then is citizens' concerns. Anybody out there that's concerned about anything at this time? JT?
No. I'm JT Cunningham, I'm sergeant here at this department. In 2010, Department of Homeland Security started this campaign of see something, say something. I guess I just wanted to remind everybody here that if you do see something that you think is suspicious or possibly criminal, call us, call 911, get a hold of us. Because recently I had a call that was reported to me 12 hours later. And we were out and we could have handled that. So it makes things hard for us to investigate things that are way later after the fact when they have the ability to call us. So just if you see something, say something, let us know. Okay?
All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Sergeant. Anybody else? All right, if not, we'll go on to item 6 then. Michael Coyle, Veterans Memorial Hospital. Come on up, Michael. Tell us who you are, please.
Hello, I'm Michael Coyle. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at Veterans Memorial Hospital right down the road in Waukon. I've got a couple of my staff with me. I've got Beth and Aaron. Beth is our Growth and Development Coordinator with VMH and the Foundation, and Aaron is our Public Relations Director. So I just want to talk a little bit about the history of healthcare in Postville. And I may be preaching to the choir, but in 1990, the Community Hospital of Postville closed. November 2022, Good Sam Long-Term Care closed. October 31, 2023, Nightingale Pharmacy closed. But, here's the big but, July 2022, VMH Medical Clinic Postville opened. We offer medical care 5 days a week with consistent health care to the Postville area. And we're very excited to be here, by the way. You know, as we became a county facility a few years ago, our commitment was healthcare across the county. And that's exactly what we're doing. Some of you may have heard, but a couple of years ago, we purchased the building next to the McMullen Clinic building. That was the Upper Explorer Land building. And we are planning to renovate that building and open a brand new clinic there. You know, we currently lease space from Dr. McMullen. Dr. McMullen is an employee now of VMH, but the space is way too small, right? Way too small. Matter of fact, over the last 3 years since we opened in 2022, we've had a 25% increase in volumes. And we're actually projected by the end of 2025 to double the number of patients that we've seen when we opened in 2022. So the three primary services that we offer here in Postville are family practice, general family practice, obstetrics, as well as behavioral health. So one of the biggest pieces that we found is we just don't have enough space. The current building is not big enough. It only has 2 exam rooms, 1 procedure room, a very small office space, and we have multiple new providers, which I'll get to in a second, that we have to put on a folding table in the hallway. That is not what we want for healthcare here in Postville. So we're still working on the exact start date, but we did do a bid opening here in June, on June 10th, and we've contracted with NB Koch General Contractors of Cedar Falls. So they plan to start, when we give them the green light, to renovate that building. We are actually going to almost triple the size of our clinic. So, I can't speak for the other healthcare organizations in the past that left Postville, but we are 100% committed to be here. 100%. And please hear me when I say that. So the new space will allow us to grow and add additional providers. So I just want to give you a quick overview, and I think we have a poster board back here that will have some renderings of what the new facilities will look like at our clinic. Thank you, Aaron. So as you can see, we've got the front end of the clinic. We're going to have a lit front end. We'll have 2 entrances. So the main public entrance is to the left, staff entrance to the right. Upper right hand is the new registration area. And if you've been to our clinic in Waukon, you'll notice that everything is exactly the same. Exactly the same. On the left-hand side is a typical patient exam room. Right now, we only have 2. We will have 5 when this thing is over. Okay? So that is the color schemes, and everything is very unique. And I want you to notice between the 2 front doors on the bottom is a blue sign with a picture of the world on it, and it's our family caring for your family in 7 different languages. And you'll see that throughout the whole building, that we will ethnically design the building for all the groups here in Postville. And we think that's very important for us. So that is some of the renderings that we have for that building. Thank you, Aaron. The new building will have 5 medical practice exam rooms, 2 behavioral health exam rooms, a procedure room, a medication storage room, a lab, a clean and dirty utility room, a large nurses station, 2 staff offices, and they're commune offices, which means that in the block there'll be 4 cubicles. So 1 office is for providers and 1 office is for nursing. We'll have a director's office, staff break room, and teleconference room, because teleconference and telehealth is a huge part of what we do, along with artificial intelligence. We just launched our Epic, which is our new EMR. If you've heard of Epic and MyChart, we just launched that on June 14th. 2 unisex bathrooms, a registration area, a reception area, and a couple of mechanical IT rooms. This is a very important project for us. What we're hoping for is that the city of Postville embraces this and helps us get through this renovation project as easily as possible. This is not a small venture for our facility. We launched our first primary care clinic in Waukon in 2021 and been very successful with that clinic. When we opened our first clinic, we were hoping to do 500 visits a year in Waukon. Between the 2 clinics, right now we're doing 1,700. Phenomenal amount of folks. The other thing that I want to talk a little bit about is, why are we doing this? One is, like I said before, our volume has increased by 25%. But between now and July of 2026, we're bringing 4 more providers, including the physician here to Postville. That is exciting. And I think that's unprecedented in a small community like Postville. So we're very excited to be here. So one of the things that we'll be doing is a foundation annual community appeal campaign, which is going to be led by Beth, Aaron, and myself. One of those things include meeting with individual folks, talking about the importance of healthcare, asking for some contributions to help expand that program. We'll be meeting with several businesses to ask them to participate. We know that healthcare keeps people in the community. If we don't have to leave Postville for services, then people continue to spend money at all of our stores here in Postville, our convenience stores, and it just keeps folks close to home. And we know that here in Postville, it's difficult to get transportation out of Postville to much larger communities. So our goal at VMH is to bring our specialists, our providers, our behavioral health programs, our OB program right here to Postville and keep those folks here in town. So the campaign is going to begin with some one-on-one visits. When do we have those scheduled? I think we have
Friday.
We start Friday. And we've got two different community forums here in Postville at the community center. And the dates are
August 20th and September 15th, and those are the invitation-only ones.
Yep.
And then we'll follow up for the whole community at a date TBD.
Yep, the date to be determined. Our goal is to give you the information, and this is important to VMH. It's important to the community of Postville and to the Postville region. So also included with those, we'll have our annual appeal. And I do believe, 17,000 letters go out here? 12,000. It's going to be 17 at some point because we're going to be so big we don't have a choice. But 12,000 letters are going out all over the region to help support Postville. So like I said, we're here to support this community. We are not going anywhere. We're consistent every single day. We're expanding our hours eventually, which you'll hear about. We're expanding our providers. And we really want Postville to grow as a community and keep people close to home. The other thing that we'll be doing is continuing to write grants to help support this. Financially, VMH is all about making sure this clinic happens. I do have to raise a few dollars from my board of trustees to help support this program, but we're going to get this thing done. I promise you, we're going to get this thing done. So what I'm asking from the City Council is just support. Please support us. I don't know what that means yet, but I thought before we start talking to community members, it was important for us to come and talk to you folks. You'll find very quickly that myself and my team are very transparent. If you want to know anything, we'll tell you. If you want to know about our finances, we'll tell you, because that's what it's about, being a community hospital. So I want to thank you for our opportunity to be here today. I want to thank Postville community and the folks around voting for us to be a county hospital. And we really hope people support this project, because I think it's near and dear to our hearts here in Postville. Instead of having healthcare leave, let's bring healthcare into Postville. So me and my staff, we're here to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
You said there's going to be 4 more positions
Yes.
coming through now.
4 more providers.
Providers. Does that mean like physicians, PAs?
So it's 1 PA
Okay.
and or 1 physician, and then we have a rotation. So all
So
of
they'll
our
they'll be doing both walk-ons.
yes,
like they do now.
yep. So for example, we've got 2 behavioral health specialists that will spend a day a week here. We have a couple nurse practitioner family practice that will spend a day or 2 here every week. And then we have a new physician that will spend probably 2 or 3 days a week here.
Any of them going to be moving to Postville? Living in Postville?
That is if we can find some housing for them.
Okay.
So
Thought I'd ask.
yeah. And most of our folks are homegrown, except for our physician. Everybody is homegrown. All of them are. And that's what's exciting for us, is we can hire those folks that grew up in this area, grew up just outside of Postville. We have Alex Burns that comes here. He's here every Monday. His schedule is packed to the max. Every day he's here. And we have some other folks that are brand new grads, but I have no problem with brand new graduates as long as they're under good mentorship by the rest of our providers. And so you'll recognize those names after we get those ready to be
So
published.
since Alex is so stacked up with appointments on Mondays, is there any chance of him extending his time, like having 2 days here, and is he stacked up and walk on?
He's stacked up in Walk-On. I'm going to tell you right now, just to get into providers is very difficult in both Walk-On and Postville. Our schedules are very full. That's why we invested in multiple new providers. We also have Dr. John Swartz, who starts in November. He's in deployment right now with the military, but he's ending his military engagement, and he starts in early November. Swartz, the SWORDS, and yes, everybody gets him confused with Dr. Schwartz. So it's Dr. John and Dr. Dave moving forward. But wait till you hear Dr. Olatan's last name. So now we just call him Dr. A. He's from Nigeria, but he's a chief resident at his medical school program, which is the highest honor any resident can have during residency. And he chose here. You want to know? I'm going to ask Aaron because I don't know if you'll believe me if I told him. Why does he choose Postville?
He loved the diversity of Postville. Felt right at home. And your question about living here, I think he would if he could. He has a child that's probably going to need some services at home.
Some disability services.
Honestly, we were driving around looking at homes.
But when we gave Dr. Olatan his tour, he's like, I don't care about Walk-On, let's go to Postville. You know why we did? Because y'all made a 20-some minute video.
She's right here.
Yep. And he watched it so many times. He shared it with his peers at medical school. And we were this close to bringing another one of his peers here because of the things that they can do in Northeast Iowa.
Way to go.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. So like I said, we're excited. We're growing leaps and bounds. We believe Postville is an amazing place for us to expand our practices. This really gives us 3 times the space to treat patients than our current location. So we're going to invest in Postville. We just would like as much help. Hear that, everybody? Hear that on that side? We would love all the help we can get because I think it really starts with patients' trust in our care. And there's a reason why we're a 5-star facility from CMS is because we provide great care. So, any other questions for me? And I'll bide my time to the next person. Anybody excited?
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. Come on. All right.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Would there ever be a chance that you could talk with Hardy Grove and get them to deliver? Because you'll have people going back and forth to get them to deliver prescriptions here.
So the pharmacy question, Dennis sits on our board of trustees for the hospital. We've had lots of conversations about pharmacy. Haven't we?
Yeah.
That is not put to bed yet. I'm going to tell you that's not put to bed yet. Because part of delivering healthcare isn't just the primary care, it's the aftercare. And aftercare does include things like pharmacy. It does include home care, hospice, physical therapy. It's not what you see your provider in the room for. That's only a small part of the care. The rest of the care is ongoing care. That does include pharmacy. So we can work out a deal. I would love to see that happen here. And I think you all would love to see that as well.
Yes, we would. Yeah.
So that's the discussion that the board and I have on a routine basis.
I have one more statement.
Yes.
I've been used your hospital on numerous occasions, and I go to see no. And please don't send out any more surveys. I feel
Yeah, so what he's referring to is we do patient satisfaction surveys or patient engagement surveys. They're done by Press-Ganey. Those are really important to us. They really are. And I'm sorry you get a bunch. But they really help us shape how we do things. And when we hear those, we take action. So if somebody sends us a message in that survey that says, hey, I had a bad check-in experience, I guarantee you with 100% certainty we're checking in.
Did you get your new water purification system for the drinking water in the hospital? Because you need to have that water. It's terrible.
The first time I'm hearing this.
Really?
But I'm listening. And I have Laura Baxter, our clinic director, if you have any questions from basically, clinic by Laura has been with us from the preconception of our first primary care clinic in Waukon. And you spend a lot of time here, don't you, Laura? So, yeah, so she has the pulse of what's happening in Postville as well. And so,
You have the worst water of any hospital I've ever been.
I can't fix that one.
Pretty well.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Is there any other questions from anybody else? We're here to let you all know what we're doing.
But you provide great services regardless of the number.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We're excited about what we've done. You know, when I got here in 2020, during the middle of COVID, we had 7 employed providers. July of 26, we'll have 24. So that's our commitment to providing healthcare in Northeast Iowa. So anyway, I'll give them the floor.
All right, thank you, Michael. Yeah. I got to just bring up a little history because when Michael showed up, I was on the board of supervisors, and we had a meeting. And his question to me was, well, "How do you feel about the hospital becoming a county hospital?" And then, of course, I just said, "Well, I think this is exactly where it needs to go," which is where it went. But he told me this list of things that he was going to accomplish. That guy. And when he got done, I kind of looked at him maybe cross-eyed because, I said, "Man, that is a goal." And that's just it. But by golly, the man did it. And so I'm very excited. I've been excited to be on their board, on the board. But the thing is that what they're talking about to doing here in Postville is the honest to God truth. And the sad thing is the man started out his talk today about things that left town. Well, we're tired of things leaving town. We need things to come back, so whatever it is, we will try to provide. We'll do, but it's not. It's what it takes to build a community. It's what it takes for everybody to move ahead. Is you have to have, first of all, people getting along, and then you have to have things like medicine around. That's it. So I'll be done. Thank you, Michael. All right.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys. All right, we'll go on to item 7 then. Public hearing on plan specs, form a contract, estimate of cost for the Cherry Valley Drive sidewalk improvement project. That's a resolution number 147125, a resolution adopting plan specifications, form of contract, estimated cost, review bid tabulation, and then resolution 147225, resolution to award the contract. I think we can
Have Lindsay come
have
on.
Lindsay come on up and try to explain exactly what I just read.
Well, thank you for the chance to explain. I guess I haven't been here. We made it this far and we haven't really talked, but basically this is a sidewalk project that starts at the treatment plant area and then winds its way up to the northeast part of town, Pacific Street. And we have 4 bids from last Thursday. And I would say that's a nice thing to have this time of year when everybody's busy. So we were happy to see that. We have a sidewalk that varies in width from basically where we pick up the trail by the treatment plant drive and then carry it down the co-op drive until we get to that corner. That corner is kind of that's the toughest spot we had to get through, but we have a solution, we think, to get around that corner and get past the Alliant issues with their poles and Niagara's, those kind of things. And then the rest of the trail on the way up to Cherry Valley Drive is a 6-foot wide concrete sidewalk to get us to the development. The sidewalk, basically, if you're driving down the road, will be there between the power poles and the shoulder slope of the road. We like to maintain the ditch in there as well. So even though it looks like there's a lot of room, things get congested quickly. But at this point, we have managed to work out a route that works around the Alliance poles and diameter issues. They're going to remove one for us, we moved around one, and they're gonna take one out and relocate it. We managed to leave all the poles. That's a big part of trying to accommodate things. So we think the sidewalk project is put together to work. Our contractors brought us prices that were between $214,000 and $287,000. Our estimate was $236,000, so we feel pretty good about our low bid. And that is big and concrete out Postville here. So it's a really quick summary of what we're doing and where we're at, and I'd be happy to answer questions if there's anything I can help with.
You just want to mention the timeline.
Yes, thank you. I've talked to Corey, and if we award tonight, we would look at a pre-construction meeting toward the end of the month. And he's thinking he would start work sometime in the later part of September, when we have a project that we're trying to get done by the early part of November. That's the timeframe that we set up in the contracts. It's a little bit late in the year, but we're still really optimistic that we can get done if it doesn't rain every day. I don't know if we can do much about that, but other than that, we hope he's got a good 6 weeks plus of time within there once he gets going. He may start a little bit of his pipe work or something ahead of his other sidewalk crews, but that's basically the thought that he had, was he would get somewhere in the middle of September by the time we could get going. We'll know more at the pre-construction meeting. I was catching him the day after the bids, and I just was trying to get our pre-con set up so we can get that arranged with both Corey and the utility. We want to invite them as well to confirm that Ryan and Corey are on the same page.
Lindsay, you said the sidewalk will fluctuate in width at some point. What is the,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
what does it go down
It's a
to?
little hard to visualize, but when we pick up the trail that's there, that's roughly a 10-foot wide,
Oh, it's-
and
okay.
we'll cross the treatment plant drive, and then we'll turn and parallel Co-op drive. We actually are in that area squeezing between a pole that we don't want to have to move. And so we have a 10-foot shoulder. We'll repave the east lane of the Co-op drive so that it matches the new concrete. We don't really want the concrete to match the old asphalt that tends to go up and down and everywhere. We'll take one lane out so that it makes a better match once we put the concrete in. So that 10-foot shoulder will be paved with concrete up to the corner. And then through the corner, we'll go from 10 to 8 to 6, just as we kind of squeeze around there, trying to avoid the grade issues, the storm sewer issues. We have to extend the storm sewer and put a little intake in there to make the ditch and things work. And then once we come out of the corner, we'll drop down to a 6-foot width that'll carry the rest of the way up to the
So it'll maintain 6 the rest of the way.
Yeah. We would like to add a little more actually, with the ditch and the power poles and the telephone pedestals. We were actually kind of happy to get 6.
Yeah, well, it's better than what was there.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So a 60, can you plow that with a tractor, pickup and a snow plow in the front, or do you need ATV with the plow, or?
They've got that Hydra, the tool cat, that Bobcat tool, and that's got the blower on it. They should be able to run right down that.
We were hoping for a pickup plow, at least 8 foot. Usually you can do that. 6 is going to require something a little more.
Yeah.
structured.
We do, yeah.
It's part of the reason why we're a little wider in the corner and through the shoulder. He should be able to plow even with the regular street plow, because it's going to be that, well, we've got thickened paving and things. So we're not afraid of him going out into the shoulder there to plow full width until it gets into the sidewalk from the intersection. So hopefully that'll make a little bit chance.
And it's all 4-inch or thicker.
We go 8. We've kind of learned the hard way. that we do 8 with steel bars in it, because we've got not just the shoulder, but we've got the field entrance there that they'll be going across the tractors and things. So rather than try to start and stop, we just went that way. Plus we crossed the Co-op, or I'm sorry, the wastewater plant drive, same way through there. So the only real pinch point is that corner. We have a little short wall actually on one side of the trail just to get us kind of benched in around that bend. Not ideal for typically what we try to do, but it's the only way I could squeeze everything in there and stay in our property.
Yeah, it wasn't as easy as laying a pad of cement, was it?
No.
I like, I like the nice little 6-foot mode boulevards, but it wasn't looking like that.
All right. I guess, do I need to open the
You
public hearing?
too, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. Anything, now you guys, have you folks got any questions? This is your time. So it's just one of those things, you guys, if you, the council's been working on this for a while. It's trying to make safe these people that come from Roca, that housing development out there, to town without having to walk on the road. Like I said before, I can't believe we haven't had something happen there. You know, in fact, somebody just stopped me the other night and said, "When are you going to get something done?" And I said, "It's happening." So, yeah.
Last year, is this your last year?
I'm afraid it's getting there. It'll be this year and a little bit of next year, and I'm just at that point where I got to figure out something.
Anything else? All right. Well, then I'll close the public hearing.
Take it back to the
You
resolution.
bet. We'll go to the resolution then. Resolution 147125, a resolution adopting plan specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost and review of tabulation. So we have to approve that one,
Yep.
Need a motion?
Yep.
please.
So we accept that resolution or adopt that resolution.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mary? Whenever you're ready, Darcy.
Moore,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Engelhardt.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Thank you. So then we got resolution 147225, a resolution making award of the contract.
I move that we adopt resolution 1472-25, awarding the contract to Bacon Country.
Right. Yep.
Why does it say Norris Springs on that? On, resolution making award.
Oh,
That
it-
be resolved the City Council of Norris Springs.
Okay, so I need to make a correction in the resolution.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary.
With correction.
With correction.
Yes,
Okay.
there you
I would second that with the correction.
Whenever you're ready, Darcy.
go.
Moore,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Engelhardt.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this was an interesting coincidence. I was here the night that your hospital closed. Long ago.
Yeah, that's been a while.
It was nice to be part of some good news.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. You bet. All right. Okay, let's go on then to item 8, and that's Brennan Bernays Bidsky. Come on up, please.
Hello, I'm Brennan Benarski with Brennan Rentals, and I'm here today to see if I can acquire public parking and make it my own on Reynolds and Tilden Street.
So how much of that do you want? I mean, and I'll tell you why I want it specific, because I go to the Presbyterian Church and I was parking that parking lot there. So, yeah.
I don't need too many. The main goal is to acquire at least 2 so I can add another unit to my building. I would like 4.
So are you planning on, do you have a permit to add another one yet?
That's the next step. First, I have to acquire parking.
No, this is on the, you have parking on the backside,
I
right?
have parking for 4 units. I was trying to get 2 more parking to get a 50.
You have to have two parking
2
spaces
for the
per
zoning is 2 per unit.
How many spaces are there right now?
I think it was like 10. 12, yeah, 12, but,
And that's along on Reynolds,
well, no, this is behind my building,
or behind
where all the stuff is for the new roof.
the new, yeah, okay. So there's, how many parking spaces are there?
There's technically 12, but it's bumper to bumper, so really 4 units can be parked there.
How many spaces are right now on South Reynolds Street?
13 for the public
So
parking.
you would want to put private parking
I
on
would,
each of those spaces that you want.
yeah, yes.
How many units are in your building?
Currently, there's 4.
The one that's, in that include the new one you're building in the back?
That I would just split that into 2.
The whole garage area?
Yeah, garage area, there's a little bit up front.
So it's 2 parking spaces per unit.
Yes, that's what's
Yes.
required.
Yes.
So there's 4 units right now.
There's currently 4.
And you have in the back, you said how many spaces?
10. But it's bumper to bumper. So
And
I
it's
can't.
behind the building, right?
He doesn't have room to add 2 more units. The Board of
But I'm
Adjustment,
saying, why would he need to? If there's 12.
he's trying to add 2 more units to his
Or-
building.
Right.
There's
But I'm
not.
saying,
There's 8. There's 8. My bad. There's 8, and there's
She's gonna split.
yeah, and then there's 10 if you include the garages. But if I put a unit in there, there's 8. Yeah. My bad.
Do you have any plans or drawings or anything that you're presenting about this?
I'm just here.
Because
I'm just here to buy.
But he's here to see if you guys would sell.
Yeah, so
That's
because
the
then
case.
I have to go to your next meeting to get permission to actually do it.
I don't know if you all got, did you all get the memo from our attorney?
yes.
You know, I don't vote, I'm just the mayor, but I would definitely, I would say you really don't want to ever sell anything that you got in the boulevard, simply because of the fact that there's so many utilities in there. And then if this young man was to buy that and something go wrong, what's utility is people supposed to do? You know, I mean, there's just certain things
I'm
that,
pretty sure utility has the right of way.
but they got the right of way from us.
They get the right of way if their stuff is there, and there's nothing on that parking spot anyway.
The right of ways belong to the public. They get their right of way from the city, not the private property owner.
So what's there that's utility wise?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
couldn't
I
tell you.
wouldn't. There's quite a bit.
We haven't done anything.
And the other thing is you'd be setting a precedence. There might be other people that would want to buy your right of ways. If you start selling your right of ways, you're setting a precedence. So it's just not heard of that cities sell their right of ways.
By right away, you mean boulevard?
Boulevard and the street parking. Yep, no,
Or what was the second one you said?
the street parking there, the what he's talking about, the boulevard and the parking area. So you've got the Presbyterian Church, you've got Gunderson Clinic behind, you've got Freedom Bank. All of those employees at times utilize parking. You also have a 2-story hotel going up across the street. So you have to kind of look at who utilizes and needs public parking in that area.
You also have a whole bunch of houses there too.
Right.
And hotels shouldn't have public parking.
No, they have their own lot, but I'm just saying that is another commercial
Why did
business.
we close that other parking?
Good
I'm
question.
The
remember we
DOT
did, but I
closed.
forget
Well,
why.
the
It
DOT
wasn't safe to back
actually,
out into the
DOT
state highway.
accepted it,
Yeah.
according to
Is
the
that in
DOT.
front of your units?
Yeah, the DOT actually said they were gonna pave it, and then there's some street guy that said no.
Yeah, actually, the council said no, it was not
So the
safe.
DOT
Yeah.
approved it.
It was changed. Yeah, back to no parking.
It's hard to see when there's parking.
Yeah,
Right.
that's just what I know it happened, but- Well, I don't think we shouldn't be giving up any boulevard access for where utilities could go. That's just a nightmare. So that's precedent.
But they can park there if they live there, can they park there?
That's public parking.
They can, yeah.
Park,
Sure.
but then I can't get permission to add another unit.
That's right.
Selling it.
I know. I'm just saying, if the people live there, they can still park there.
But there won't be anybody living there.
What is it, 24,
He has to
48?
provide parking in order to go.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah. Has to be.
I don't know what it is on the street.
Can't count on
I'd have to pull the code. I don't know what it is.
You could buy the lot across the street and take the house down, and make it all of her.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's willing to sell it. He'll take it. As his brothers.
So back to the issue at hand. What do you folks want to do?
If you just keep the one place that you're building now, the extra one you have in the park.
The goal is to expand.
Hmm?
The goal is to expand, so I
I
can't
know, but
expand
I'm just
without
saying.
acquiring two additional.
But what I'm asking now, how big of units are you putting in?
This additional one will be a studio.
And the new one is that you're building.
The new one is the studio. The one that I want to build.
The one that's on the left and the back, is that done? Is that
I
really?
have 3 finished, 1 in progress. I'm trying to get to the 5th one because the process is kind of slow.
When you say studio, you're talking 1 bed, 2 bed?
Studio is no
So that's just.
no
like a big
legal
one.
bedroom. Bedroom is have to have a closet. Basically, a bedroom.
So that's for one person.
Basically.
So you need one space.
Well, since we
Even
can't
if it's a studio.
rezone
he's
that
trying to do,
residential,
but he can't
you don't
bring it
spot
toward adjustments.
blocks. I have to do 2 per unit
Per
instead
unit,
of
yeah.
1.5. If it was 1.5, then I could put that in there without a problem.
What is he zoned right now?
The whole block is commercial.
He went to Board of
C1.
Adjustment to get the studio. He doesn't have any more parking
Okay.
to bring it to them.
So the studio it was accepted
By
the
Board of Adjustment, yeah,
Okay.
because he showed the off-street parking was there.
Okay. So if you went to the Board of Adjustment, got the approval for the studio, got the approval for the parking, but now you want to go and change what you went to get the approval for.
I already got approval for the front one, so now I want to get 2 parking. So
But why didn't you ask for that when you went initially?
Because he didn't have the parking.
Because I don't have parking.
But you knew that going into it.
You're actually going to add another one. You want to add another apartment.
Yeah, the goal is to add a 5th unit.
Yeah.
I already have permission to do 4. We can't add a 5th one without 2 more parking spots.
And so,
Did you say something about making the garage? Something like that?
No, I have currently garages that I would put them in, but to fix up the garages, it's
And those garages where you're parking that you showed the Board of Adjustment when you
that would
appealed
be
to them.
10, but it's still
Because it's 2 places per unit.
yeah, so I have
off-street.
currently 10
Okay.
bumper to bumper, or 8 if you remove the garage. So it's still legal in your guys'
Yep.
rule.
I think it's simple. Your boulevards can't be sold.
I-
Make a motion that we deny the, I don't think we should be selling boulevards, okay? We want to keep the public, we want to have the public. I don't think we should be selling boulevards, and you're gonna have to be satisfied with 4. That's the event board, that's the precedent, we can't do something that. We had a real discussion, what?
I said so much for growth.
No,
Well,
Overall,
there's
about the
places for
and
growth. There's places where growth isn't in a good. This wasn't on a busy highway. This wasn't on a busy street. You've got what Quick Star. You've got a bank. You've got potentially maybe a hotel. There's going to be a lot of traffic in this area. You got
Right.
bumper to bumper now.
So then
You're
is it
going to
not
make
safe
more
for
bumper to.
public parking since there's so much parking.
Why would you want to congest it more?
Just what's the
Tell me.
Just don't sell a boulevard. Just
Don't
sell
you don't
boulevard
sell we don't
territory.
that
That's our
we
territory.
don't want to add more congestion to our city properties. I don't anyway. That's my motion to be to
Are
deny.
you
Well,
second?
Larry's
He
made a
made a
motion.
motion.
Okay, I would second Larry's
Okay.
motion to deny.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those say no. Thank you.
right? Thank you.
Okay, let's go on to item 10 then. Water tower lease agreement with the radio station.
All right,
Yes.
so last meeting you presented to them, what was it, 200 a month? 400 a month? Yeah. For 2 years. Well, they came back and said, well, what happens after 2 years? So that's why it's back before you again. The city attorney added 10%. If you're agreeable to that, then I would need you to decide that tonight, and then I'll go ahead and send them this lease agreement to see if they'll. No, no,
Just the 400.
that's why it's back before you. Otherwise, I would have sent it to them.
After 2 years, it would go up to 440.
Right,
2 years from now, go 440 plus 10%.
right.
We just said 400
For then
for
in 2 years,
but we just left it at that.
right?
He's saying, the attorney's saying maybe
10%.
the 10% every other, or
So
every 2
that's
years.
the schedule we send up.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
I forget what I wrote in the email I sent you, the average.
You thought that was
revenue
Just what? 5.
I forgot.
5.
5, is that all right? Yeah, so 10 sounds good.
I think we talked about what we had charged, and what low was. You said what average was, and we came up with
Right.
in between.
All right. What's your feeling on that, you guys?
I don't think it's out of line by any means.
So, we need a motion.
Do that.
to accept the agree- I move we accept the water tower lease agreement.
With
With the increase.
Is that good enough?
Yeah.
All right. Is there a second?
Divorce. Second.
Oh, the board did? All right. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Carried. All right. Then we'll go on to item 11, ordinance number 70625, and an ordinance relating to the water rates.
Okay.
And that, go ahead, Darcy.
So I had this in your packet. July is your time frame. You review your rates. This would be based on a 1% increase to water rates.
What have we done in the past? I mean,
1%.
Are you giving yourself, what's that?
1%.
Yeah, are you giving yourself enough
We can,
income?
per your code, you can go up to 3.5. But we, try and be conservative with what people can afford. And,
Customers and what we-
our costs are going up just like everyone else's. So I think 1% seems reasonable at this time.
Can't rely on your judgment.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as bad as property taxes.
What's that?
It's not nearly as bad as property taxes.
Right.
Got them today. Wow.
Yeah.
So, filter, didn't I?
They're out.
I went a little off subject there, didn't I? Okay.
Yeah, you make a motion.
Yeah.
Maybe we bag the owl one.
You're making a motion,
I
Larry?
am, yes.
Okay.
Adopt ordinance 706-25.
Right. Second?
I'll second.
All right, Darcy, whenever you're ready.
Moore,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Engelhardt,
Yes.
Ingstrom. Sorry.
Yeah.
So then you would need to waive the second and third or let it go to a second reading at your next meeting.
Second, third.
Second?
I'll second.
Is that voice?
Yeah, no, that's a roll call.
This roll call.
Moore,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody,
No.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Engelhardt.
Yes.
Moody's a no. Okay.
Okay, that's passed. We're done with that one. Let's go on to item 12, then bid for J.F. Smith Co-op Drive. What's that entail, Darcy?
We had a water leak issue up on Co-op Drive, and we had an issue with the digging with Ziegler, and there was a leak with the valve, so we had some additional cost. We had to dig up the roadway, and when we got to looking at it, the area that needs to be replaced, the street is bad beyond that. So you're probably looking at near the trailer park where it bends there. So we got pricing to do the entire amount. We figured since we're there paving, and that way J.F. Smith Co-op Drive would be completely done now, as far as because we've done a little bit of it each year. So the low bid, two bids for you. The low bid, Eastern Iowa Excavating, $54,492.75. Bacon Concrete, $62,464.50. Out of the low bid of Eastern Iowa, $11,407.50 would be out of the water portion of the budget, and $43,085.25 would be out of the street department budget.
Person who writes the wastewater.
Chris.
So I was gonna ask him, because I was just, when I was looking at this bit over here, so this Eastern Iowa came out cheaper, but when you compare it like apples to apples, it seems like Bacon was basing his on a much thicker sub-base or whatever. Like he has his under 180 tons,
Okay.
which is like between 8.2 and 10-inch sub-base
Mhm.
or whatever. And then this Eastern Iowa's, his 6 inches or whatever comes to between 140 and 170, which is fine. I mean, he still would have won the bid anyway, but I'm just wondering, like, if is this enough of a thickness or whatever sub-base?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Is that
Mhm.
enough? Like they both got the same information.
They did. Actually, both came and even looked at the project.
Okay.
Get that answered, Deborah. All right.
Mhm.
Good question. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there, let me see is there a motion? Yep.
You would have won the bid anyway.
And make a motion to accept Eastern Iowa Excavating and Concrete
So he still would have won.
for the JF Smith's Co-op Drive improvement.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll say.
All right. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor say aye. I say no. All right, that's carried. Okay, item 13, housing inspections. Father Coolidge.
Again, my name is Father Martin Coolidge. I'm Catholic priest for the towns of McGregor, Monona, and Postville, and pastor over here at St. Bridget's Catholic Church in Postville for 3 years now. And thank you for adding me to the agenda. I really didn't expect that. So, after offering public comment last time, and with some others as well, rental housing concerns that we have within the community. So, thank you for adding this to the agenda, and I'm going to look at it and address it as a council for the good of our community members. I don't think I need to maybe go over the long bit I did last time, and a lot of it is anecdotal evidence of just very bad rental conditions. Others in the community express that as well. And knowing that we do have a rental code, and I kind of pulled it up here, housing code here, 15503, that at the time of construction and then upon transfer of legal title, those inspections are to be done, and not exceeding one inspection any 12-month period. Also, if there's a complaint that can be made, an inspection is done with the notice of that complaint to inspect. So, what I think many community members would like to see is more regular inspections done of rental properties. And so, updating that ordinance that we do already have to have more regular inspections, knowing that all properties can be done within 1 year, just physically able to do that, but perhaps over 2, 3, 4 years even. And the packet I metered out last time, there's a rough schematic and plan for that to be done over a period of time greater than maybe just, maybe that transfer of title hasn't happened in a long time. Those properties aren't being inspected. So that would be a huge help to our community members. And again, just anecdotally, many people coming for assistance to the church or rental assistance, going there, visiting with them, also doing many home blessings, and just seeing just some very bad conditions. And I think that we're all in favor of helping our community out there. one thing I've noticed is it's not, I don't think it's a one-off thing of just like, oh, this landlord here or that house there. And also from others who made public comment last time, I think we could say that the word I would use is more systemic or widespread, universal. And people are afraid to bring these things up, especially those in our community that are immigrants and they're a vulnerable population. And so that's mostly what I deal with, those the parish as well. And so they're afraid to bring up these rental safety issues to landlords. And you're being kicked out as well, and then becoming homeless. And do you have an example of that this past spring? Well, they were very afraid, and they actually went to Utah. They left our community to go to a family out there because conditions were so bad that there was like 5 families living in one house. It was really very, very bad conditions, and they couldn't take it, and so they left. So we don't want our people to leave, as we've talked about a lot here, and wanting to provide good health care and everything. That's really wonderful. So how can we keep our people here with us as well? I think that housing concern is another key part of that, in addition to the health care that we want to bring as well, and safety, the sidewalks and everything there. We're going to have to, I guess, look inside to see that many of the properties are in bad shape. We can go throughout our community and just easily see that. And just looking at, again, in that packet I included last time, 50% of the housing in Postville is a rental in Postville. It is much higher than other cities around us, and so people are paying a lot more compared to like Waukon, for example, up there, but the conditions are perhaps much worse. So you have people, children living in houses. We can see a broken window and just like a board over it. That's not what we want our families, our children to be living in. Holes in floors, cockroaches. People testified to that last time at the public comment. Smoke detectors as well. Are these in place, working? The lead paint as well. And stairs and railings. Those are other things that are very important for us to keep track of. And those rental inspections on a more regular basis than maybe just at the time of construction, the transfer of title, could make sure we're holding everyone accountable. The landlords, making sure people want to stay here and live here, good, safe housing. So I know 2 members were not here last time. I think Rebecca, when I was here this last one, and Larry. So I'll just give you what I gave everyone else last time. Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah.
Did you say 50% of the house is in Postville?
Our higher costs, yeah, sorry. But
50% higher.
50%, but yeah, we're 50% higher costs.
But both are true. Both statements are true.
50% of town houses are rental.
According to the federal government.
And 50% are higher rents than neighbors.
Yeah, so on the second page here, like comparing to walk on there too.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. So I guess just hoping maybe something can be done, that ordinance to be updated, or at least all of you kind of examining that and looking at that for the well-being of our.
I was looking over our housing code, and I think we have a really very good housing code, and it mentions all of these things that Father mentioned, which is wrong with our rentals. I think we have a very good housing code, but I think that we have to work on enforcing it. And I think we have to go back one step to like 155.02 as far as registration and fees. And if we don't have the landlords register as landlords for free, with hefty fines for violating that or for non-compliance with that, then there's nothing to talk about, because we don't know who these landlords are. Well, we know behind the scenes, but we don't have a proper official document registering them as landlords where we can enforce things. So I've been looking at this, and putting the whole onus on the renters to come in and maybe be evicted or have negative consequences, like you were saying. That I don't know why we have to wait for complaints before we do something.
Right.
I think we can be proactive, and I think we have to put part of that responsibility on the landlords, where they have to come in and register, and let's say within 90 days of registering for no fee, just register so we know that they're a landlord, and then it's official and they share the responsibility. And then within 90 days of them, let's say registering, then they have to set up an inspection within that first year, and let's say every 3 years after, whatever it says already in our code. But we can have all this stuff written down, but it's not going to help us if we don't know who these landlords are, and they're all doing that under the table and quietly. And so then they're free to evict and to punish the renters for complaining, and the renters are too afraid to do it. But if they register, it provides protection for the landlords and for the renters, because we have in here, if there's like an unfounded complaint, then the renter gets a higher fee. So we're providing protection for both of them. The landlords will have to do the right thing and carry the responsibility, and we don't have to wait for complaints. We can be proactive, and we can be leaders, and we can enforce this. And the landlords themselves will feel also protected, that they're not just going to have this barrage of complaints. If there is something unfounded, we can rely on what the inspector says that it was unfounded, and then the renters will learn you can't make unfounded complaints. But as far as people being too scared, it says over here, with like a rental or an agency filing a complaint. I guess last month, I don't know if they were actual agencies or just representatives of agencies, but I'd say we heard lots of complaints that we have to accept. We have to understand that there's people living in terrible conditions, and we have it right here in front of us. We have all the means of doing it, and we can change it. We can draft an ordinance. We can change it where the responsibility for paying for that inspection, besides our city's fees, where they have to pay for it. We had Pat Stone here a while ago, and he was saying, well, he gets, I think, his HUD inspections, he was saying, for free. But it's his responsibility to get that inspection done. If we have the landlords register for free, with a hefty fine if they don't, because then if we don't give them a hefty fine, they'll figure paying $5 like a parking ticket comes out cheaper than paying for an inspection. So with a proper fee and a penalty for not registering, and then we put the onus also of having inspections. We can't expect Dave Palace to inspect every house in Postville and every rental room. It'll take him 10 years. It's impossible for one person to do it. But the father gave us a whole list of these inspectors. We can have that list of inspectors available to the landlords when they register, and it's up to them to call the inspector, to set up a time, to have an inspection done, to get a certificate of inspection that he can show and he can use as proof, let's say, for unfounded complaints, and he has to pay for it. It's simple, and it says it all here. But I think we have to start at step one, which is getting these landlords, drafting an ordinance maybe for these landlords to register, so we know who we're dealing with.
They are, yeah. At the time we don't know. A lot of them don't even live here.
Well, they're absentee landowners.
Right. And that gives both of them protection. It gives both of them safety and security. The renters don't have to be afraid to make a complaint, and they might not even have to once they fix things up, because we'll have regular inspections. And it also gives the landlord some safety from unfounded complaints. He's not going to have to get a re-inspection or whatever it is, if it's unfounded, the renter has to pay for it. So that'll, filter the valid complaints. But it's all written over here. I think, time of construction and transfer of legal title, if they're all doing it under the table, that's never going to happen. We're never going to inspect a place because they're there. They're not new construction. And no one's changing titles. They hold on to it forever and just keep renting it, And so we've heard that there's tons of violations as far as roaches and, did you say 5 families in the apartment? And here it's like 2 people per bedroom. So we know that there's obviously violations happening, but we can't enforce it if we don't know who we're enforcing it against. I think, in my opinion, it would be a good step of being proactive instead of waiting for complaints, which we're clearly aware of, is maybe drafting an ordinance, really enforcing this registration of the landlords and hefty penalties for not registering if we find out that they are a rental owner.
Well, yeah. It's good for us too, because half of the houses in this town are rentals.
Right.
And they're not maintained, they're gonna start falling down.
Right.
And, it'll look like a war zone here, where all these houses start falling down, that,
And Dave Palace does an excellent job of inspecting our houses, and we see that we're moving forward on that, and we're having people either fix it or we're doing the dangerous building, whatever. We have to do the same with rentals.
right.
Because that's, and for the houses, I mean, we don't wait for, I guess, for the neighbor or the owner or somebody to make a complaint. If I drive by and I see something that looks like some of these houses, we just start the process of calling for an inspection. We shouldn't have to wait for people to have lead poisoning or, or all the other things that we're talking about that are dangerous or whatever. We shouldn't have to wait. We can be leaders in this. Postville can show other towns how to deal with it. We can be proactive, possibly.
I like that idea.
I mean, it's in depth. We have to.
All right. Sounds like we got a mission.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, anybody else to that?
I'm on the rural housing board or whatever. And I called them after our meeting, just to see what kind of assistance we could get. And, since our landlords don't register through them, they really have no teeth to go after them. But she said they're glad they're aware of the problem, and if it continues to be a problem, I think we should talk to them to get some guidance as to how to go after this. So, but I think this is a very non-threatening way.
I mean, it's in our code.
Right,
I think
yes.
if we could ask the attorney maybe to draft an ordinance, really pushing as far as the registration goes, with really big fines for non-compliance. At least then we know who we're dealing with.
Yes.
Then we can start, and they'll feel comfortable too. It protects them as well from anything unfounded. It gives the renters nothing to be frightened about, because then they know they're dealing with somebody official. They're not just dealing with something under the table, with rent, whatever it might be.
Well, you got the hard part done. The code's written.
Right.
Right.
So
It's in here.
modify the code
Right.
to add the language. And with that, maybe go back to Mr. Bednarski's, request about, public utilities, public easements, public right of ways, whatever.
That's not parking code.
But is that in our building? Is that added into our housing code, I guess? Or is that a standalone code itself?
As far
Is
as
what he was asking for.
that's in your parking under Iowa code, and it's in the Iowa code. It's under parking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he was requesting something under that to allow for additional housing.
Which would be
parking.
zoning. He needed that to bring it to Board of Adjustment. But he would have had to he would also have had to have showed them that the neighborhood and bringing 2 more units into that building would not unduly burden a neighborhood. I would think that argument would be a little bit hard to prove to them. You get to a point where there's enough people in a property, there has to be a line. You just can't keep hoarding
And that's
people
where I
in.
was trying to go with him. It was just too much congestion, but not to get away from what Deborah's point
Okay,
was
so
here.
Deborah, you said that we need to add in a fine for not registering because it requires landlords to register now.
Right.
But there's
Without a
no
fee.
consequences. I mean, there's not a fee, but you're
Right.
saying there should be a compliance fee
Penalty.
penalty if you don't. Okay. And then you said,
And I think part of the ordinance should be that let's say whatever, I mean, the lawyer can discuss this or
Yeah.
whatever, but let's say within 90 days of registering, he has to have organized his first inspection.
So is
And it
he
is good-
organizing that inspection with the city or
No,
with one of these,
with one of these? We can't,
or a
Where's the
license, or a licensed
Yeah.
inspector?
who follows HUD, because that's what we're following too.
Okay,
I mean, so can't just
that
be
follows
solely-
HUD.
Yeah.
Okay, then
Or
what's the consequences if they don't? Then the penalties are stated in there. If you don't,
Well, I think you should probably have to say what the penalty would be.
Well, I mean, yeah, we have to discuss that also.
I think
Every
you're
3
going to
years,
find,
every
and
2
this is just my opinion, you're going to find a lot of inspectors are not going to be willing to do it because they're going to be concerned about getting paid. We had a hard time finding housing inspectors. We have for years. And the reason why it was under the city is because if somebody doesn't pay the city, we assess property tax because we get paid one way or another. You start trying to do private inspectors, you're going to have a problem when they start not getting paid. They're not going to inspect for you or be doing inspections in Postville.
Well,
I mean,
the
that's just
landlord will have
something.
to show a certificate of inspection, and if he doesn't because he didn't pay the inspection, there have to be penalties and fines for that as well.
Right,
We can't let them just have nobody to answer to
right.
and be their own authority. If it's their responsibility to hire that service, it's their responsibility to pay for that service, and proof of that will be the certificate of inspection.
Okay,
Makes
I
sense.
assume.
okay. So you want the city attorney to make those changes for next meeting ordinance? Is
I
that
mean,
what?
it's my
Yeah.
Get me
recommendation.
some input on the
Yeah.
verbiage,
Yeah.
or certificate of occupancies or something.
And if he can show a certificate of inspection, let's say, within the first night, or organize it within the first 90 days or whatever, and every 3 years after that, then he's protected himself. Then we know when we get an unfounded complaint, if it is unfounded, he can show his certificate and say, I was just checked. I'm
Okay.
fine. Then he doesn't have to pay a reinspection fee or whatever it is.
And I wouldn't expect that the inspector would give a certificate that being paid for.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That would be proof that he has to pay for it. The landlord has to show us the certificate of inspection. He'll have to pay for it.
Cover that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll work at it. You bet.
And maybe the attorney will have more ideas.
Yeah, sure he will.
Having worked with other communities.
Right. It won't happen overnight.
No, it's not going to, but it's a start.
Yeah,
you know.
we're gonna get, we'll get it started.
We're gonna get on it. We're gonna get on this problem that these people have come to.
Should we go on to item 14?
Yes, please.
Resolution number 147025, resolution for local match for the Hazard Mitigation Assistance Program. And what that is new sirens in town. We've kind of got this program rolling, and it's mostly grant money, but like lots of grants, we got to throw some money in.
How much money are you gonna put in, Dennis?
15%.
Yeah.
13%.
Is it what was it, a $70,000
Yeah.
project?
$60,120.48, and the city would need to put in 15%, so $9,018.07. Now this grant, it's 2 years out before you'd even hear, but
Yeah.
this is the last piece I need for the grant submittal that I've been working on. So
And Darcy's been working very hard on this. It's a lot of paperwork that she's done, and of course, Nick has been around to help. And the reason we're doing this, you guys, is we got a very antiquated system. And it's not that maybe you don't hear it, but there's a lot of areas that where they're positioned right now, there's folks that don't. Well, then you're going to have somebody come and tell you, well, you just, if you're in your house, you're probably not going to hear it anyway, because you need to be outside. So you need to know that you got to take cover. It's one of those things. But I think one of the biggest issues is how this is all tied together, and it's all at the fire station, and it is a mess. It's a mess. You could throw a rat in there, it wouldn't find its way out of there. So just the fact that if we can get most of this covered on grant money and get a new system, I think it'd be well worth it, but
This one too, for anybody?
just us.
Yeah.
The frontier, the fire. And also, conversation.
Read on.
Sorry. So can I make a move quickly before I get
Please,
Okay,
make
I
a
make a
motion.
move that we accept resolution 1470-25 for local match for the hazard mitigation assistance program.
That's okay. I'll second.
Whenever you're ready, Darcy.
Moore,
Here.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Engstrom,
Yes.
Engelhardt.
Yes.
All right, thanks. That passes. Okay, item 15, Lamar advertising lease. That's a billboard?
Yeah,
Where is that?
Clayton County
Oh, I thought so.
by the business park.
On your way up the website, yeah.
So they propose you, our lease is up with them. Currently, they pay us annually $476.21, and they have 3 options for renewal that you need to direct.
They pay us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on our property.
You only get $400.
They pay us for this, for the signed City of Postville?
No, they advertise.
They
on it.
advertise.
It's a big
Oh,
billboard.
this is the, oh, I thought it was our City of Postville.
No.
Oh. Oh.
So which option would you like?
You see those options, you guys?
I think that we should get the yearly. Let's get them on the books.
Even if they don't have nothing to advertise, they still get a billboard for sitting there for 20 years. But they bill their advertiser,
Mhm.
and then they maintain the integrity of the structure and
What was the lease before?
476. 20.
Well, let's save everyone time and pay for it, call it the 20-year
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I got a motion.
I move to go with option 3. I
One-
second it.
All right. Everybody hear that? Option 3?
Right. And it's locking us in for like 20 years.
Yeah,
You think it's how long have they been
since before my time, and I've been here 20 years.
already?
All right, any further discussion?
What did the office the last time? Yeah, what have we been getting?
476.21. They had to have had about a 20-year lease because I've been here about 20 years, and this is the first I've seen it.
Right, okay.
If they go out of business, or retire or whatever, and what happens, we just don't get the.
That's right.
Mhm.
Based on them being in business. Or they have the lease, but what are they going to sell it to? They would still leave them. Okay, there.
Yep. It's there for 20 years. All right. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Opposed say no. Carry. Oh man, we got a lot of resolutions tonight. Item 16, resolution number 146925, resolution approving Iowa Department of Transportation, Iowa DOT 2025 street finance report and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to sign name.
All right, so this is your fiscal year ending June of 25 annual report to the DOT on how you receipted and expended your road use and local option sales tax for your streets and your street department. So I just need permission to go ahead and have the mayor sign to submit this to the state.
And then we adopt resolution 1469.
Thank you.
I would be on to authorizing the mayor to sign.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Whenever you're ready, Darcy.
Moore.
Yep.
Mar.
Yes.
Moody.
Yes.
Engstrom.
Yes.
Engelhardt.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Thank you. Item 17, Robert Schrader.
First of all, I had a difficult time getting put on the agenda. And when I filled out my agenda request, it was to discuss the agreement that the city has with Ag, and they just put my name there. Wasn't really happy about that, but I'm here tonight. My name is Bob Schrader. I have lived in Coylesville all my life, except for 5 years from 1975 to 1980, at which time I was in charge of pollution control at White Farm Equipment Company in Charles City, Iowa. The significance of this is that Charles City also has Salisbury Labs. Do they still have it, Larry?
I think they're not together anymore.
Well, Salisbury Labs was a agricultural pharmaceutical company. And one of the things they made in Salisbury Labs had a bioproduct of arsenic, which they deposited in the waste dump in the floodplain of the Cedar River. The EPA classified this as one of the 10 most toxic waste dumps in the USDA. This is why it made it essential that I knew what I was doing at my job. Years ago, the city of Postville entered into an agreement with Agri and the USDA that the city would pay for a new wastewater plant for Agri-Star, which is a privately owned company, and that the people of Postville would pay for this with the sewer tax, which you pay every month, a sewer tax for the city of Postville. And I don't think that's right. Agri's privately owned corporation take care of their own affairs, and we shouldn't be doing it. But the city never informed the citizens of Postville. This was over 20 years ago. A lot of us, at that time, we didn't have computers. Do any of you remember receiving a letter in the mail notifying you that this was going to happen? If so, raise your hand. No, I don't remember it either. Approximately 2 years from now, that will end the payment for this plant. In 2 more years, the city will sell the plant back to Agri-Star for $1. $1. Do you feel comfortable with that after we paid for that plant? That's not right. I found out about this agreement a few months ago, and I've tried to have this issue on the agenda several times, but the importance of it was not, I wasn't allowed to have this on the agenda. According to the Attorney General's office of the state of Iowa, and you have to remember, this is a city-owned water plant. Do all of you realize that?
The city-owned water plant, out here.
No.
At Anger, okay.
We're paying for that, so it's our plant. According to the Attorney General's office of the state of Iowa, Agri has violated the National Pollution Discharge Elimination Permit 60 times. They violated federal law 60 times. Over the past several years, they are using the city's wastewater plant and taking advantage of us and giving the city of Postville a black eye. Because of the seriousness of these violations, these are federal violations, not state violations, federal violations. Agri, in my opinion, has voided any agreement that we had with Agri. They avoided these agreements that we had with them by violating these federal laws. In closing, I would like to know who is Neville Properties. I know, but I'd like to hear you say who Neville Properties is, because Neville Properties owns the land under the wastewater treatment plant that the city of Postville owns. That's not right either. That should never have been agreed to at any time to have this agreement with Agri, that we will pay for that wastewater plant. And why is the city involved with getting a note from the USDA when Agri should have been the person to get this note? Do you have any idea, Becky?
No, I would imagine because the city owns the sewer. I mean, we paid for it, right?
You paid for it,
So that's
but why couldn't Agri get a loan from the USDA?
You tell me. Plus, I wasn't here then, but a lot of stuff happened that shouldn't have happened back then.
Exactly.
Many things
And
happened.
now it can be,
Biting us in the hiney.
it's going to bite you in the hind bad. Yes. It sure looks to me like the city of Postville will be remembered as the one who polluted the Yellow River. Do you feel comfortable with this city council? To be known throughout history that you are responsible for polluting that river out there. That's a dirty shame. Larry, in June of 1999, I caught a 10-pound rainbow on that river, threw it back in, and a whole raft of brownies, none under 4 pounds. I think you probably want to take your grandkids out there fishing. But is there any more fish left out there after they did 60 violations?
Does the DNR monitor that trout population there?
You don't know this. I do. The DNR used to be an agency that we could be proud to work with. Now, they're not. They don't care about nothing other than helping big business out. I can tell you about one instance where I called them, and I called the sheriff's office and I said, I want to know who the conservation officer is that's working this weekend. And they told me, and I called him and I said, I know of an instance where there's somebody who's making a pond and they're dynamiting to make that pond. And I want to know the name of the conservation officer that's on duty so he can go with me and we can take photos and document it. I called the guy, he refused to come. And then at Jim Jeanette's retirement party, he was there. And I jumped in about it. And he said, oh, I never got a phone call about that. Bullshit, he got a phone call. They're so inept at doing their jobs anymore. And I bet, Matt, you would agree with me on that too. You know about conservation officers.
I know of them.
Well, I think it's time for the city of Postville to stop paying for this wastewater plant up at Agri. And for all the people of Postville who have paid money for this, we should be paid back this money. And we don't need to pay them one more red cent to violate federal laws. That's all I have to say. And I'd like to hear some comments from you. And if you folks have any questions, you ask them now. This is your opportunity. Oh, there's one more thing. For years in this town, there have been accusations about various people receiving gifts from Agri in the form of meats.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Well, it's no accusation. It's true.
I know it is.
You know it is too. And also trips to other countries. And that should never have happened. And that's just another case where we should be getting out of any dealings with them. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Some of that is old history, Bob.
What?
Those kind of things, a lot of that is old history.
It's old
It
history,
happened,
Larry, but are we
But
going
it's
to
not
continue?
happening, I don't think, in this council.
I hope not.
No,
I know it's not happening with
you
you.
can't get a package of hot dogs. Was it $3 or something? It was, We know that the amount that you can be gifted is very little, you know,
$2.99.
$2.99, okay. Well, that's right.
But it's time to quit that. I'd like to see your grandkids be able to go out there and fish and catch fish. But going the way it is, you guys, if you continue on this path, you're just going to be known as the council. History's going to, you know, this stuff's going to come up. And you're going to be known as the council that
We have to have the support, we have to the support of the DNR and you turn it over to legal counsel. We're not legal experts, know what all the agreement's into. We can't take a comment and say, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You turn it over to legal counsel, you get their opinion on what should be done. That's all we can do.
are you going to turn it over to legal counsel?
I think that's something that's ours deciding is, you know, they may say, we don't know what the legal counsel is gonna say.
Well, I've said my piece.
I did see something in the paper about the agri process that got settled out of court on some of these violations
With the DNR.
with the DNR. And
That settlement was ridiculous.
it was, I can't say it was just or not. That would be a-
$50,000 settlement.
I heard that.
Less than $800 per violation.
And the beef on the paper was that the public should have had input as to the amount of the settlement. And there was no public input. I think that was the newspaper said there was no public input as to the amount of the settlement. It was all kept somewhat hush hush.
I'm just here on behalf of the river as the river's voice. And that thing about Hecker Creek. Do you know that the only time Hecker Creek has any effluent in it is when agri is discharged? That water goes directly into the river. It's ridiculous. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bob. All right, let's go on to item 18, then zoning annexation.
So I have this on here tonight for you to give direction to have your planning and zoning commission look at the zoning designation for the annexed 40 acres that you brought into the city last fall, in the Ziegler area, I guess is what we know it as. Right now it's zoned ag, and they probably need to review that to see if a zoning classification needs to change there. I guess it would be my recommendation that they be looking at the highway commercial district. I think I gave you a copy of that in your packet. But you would need your planning and zoning commission to meet and make a recommendation back to you so that you can change your zoning code and maps. So I guess I'm asking you to make a motion to direct your planning and zoning commission to meet on that issue.
I'd make a motion to have the planning and zoning commission meet to reconsider his current zoning class of ag to a change of C2 commercial highway.
All right, second.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, does
Yeah.
that change the taxation or anything?
No, it just changes what it's allowed in that district. Yeah, so when people look to build, it's what's allowed. Setbacks, all of that.
The assessor does all the taxation.
And I think it was something to do with Ziegler as far as money went to. They were looking, you know, their bank needs to have that done. So. Okay, any other discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Carried. Thank you. Wow. Another ordinance. Item 19, ordinance number 70525, ordinance amending chapter 103, private sewage disposal systems of the City Code of Ordinances.
There's some really old language in that thing.
Mhm.
Night soil.
Night soil. What is that?
I've worked in shit for 20 or 32 years and I don't know myself.
Maybe it's just another way to say it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
What's the purpose of this?
Okay, so we have some what we call gray water that we currently don't take at our waste treatment plant. Like, for example, Fort County Ag has a holding tank. Big Four Fair has a holding tank. And we don't treat that. So they have to call Nest to pump it out. We don't take it. Well, this would allow us to take it. And there would be a charge. And it would just be to people that live in Postville. So you're changing your ordinance to allow it to be treated at our waste treatment plant.
So they would take
It would
from
be
there
pumped
and
there,
dump
yeah.
it there.
Yeah.
And you also run the risk of those chemicals from those places going into downstream into that stream.
Well, it would be treated in our waste treatment plant. So,
This treatment render it harmless.
right. Yeah. Chris reviewed all this. Otherwise, it would be a hard no.
Ag chemicals of, herbicides, insecticides, stuff like that.
Well, okay. So like
That's not.
they're
part of
not,
what's in
they're
there.
not part of what's in those holding tanks.
These aren't like rinsing out chemical tanks on
Nuh-uh.
sprayers and stuff.
That's what I'm.
No. It's like washing their vehicles.
This, well, yeah, or the holding tanks for bathrooms
Right.
that can't be hooked up to city on-site sewer.
Holding tanks for what?
Restrooms,
That can't go into the city.
because they are
Well,
too
they're
far
not
away to
plumbed.
be hooked up to be plumbed to the city sewer.
Mhm.
What?
They're
Too
not-
far away to be hooked up to
Oh,
city
okay,
sewer.
okay.
But they can be treated. It can be treated at that park, right?
This would allow
Yeah.
it to be.
Right.
And
Currently,
is this-
it's not.
Does this also allow, like, if you have the fairgrounds, like, and granted, Chad would usually take care of his own, but like porta potties, it doesn't. I don't know if that's night
I don't
soil.
think so. I don't think that's what Chris was saying.
Because that, I mean, porta potty waste has to be taken to a wastewater treatment plant per my codes.
Right.
So
Yeah. He didn't mention
I didn't-
porta potties. He mentioned those other holding tanks to me.
But
it was Ness that approached him.
Discharge any
Yeah.
porta potty waste.
So Nest pumps out our retention at the vet clinic. Or what happens to it?
If you
Goes,
land
that probably goes to some city facility that allows it.
Right.
certain things, he
Then they
can
charge.
neutralize it. Do a,
Right.
he's
Yeah,
got a
I-
holding facility.
Then it should not go through the city's process because of ivermectin, that's a chemical that we use for cattle deworming, highly toxic to fish.
Yeah.
It needs to get out of our water system, not be in our, so it gets pumped out into then Nest takes care of it.
Mhm.
But that kind of product, he has to put into a city treatment plant. Has to be neutralized through chemical processes at a treatment plant. He can't go in, he can't go in and land apply it himself.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is probably a step beyond that. How do they know they get neutralized,
That's why they pay certification and then get inspected.
Yeah, but it's just a pollution factor for big enough municipality.
I mean, we have to require them to line everything down before they land apply. And so, like I said, porta potty waste cannot be land applied, it has to go to a city.
Okay. As long as we're not allowing ag chemicals to be from rinsing out tanks of
No.
insecticides, herbicides, stuff like that, cannot go out through our city water. Through our city gray water, This is prevent, this does not allow that. to
Right.
happen,
No.
right?
No.
It's pretty cheap at $60.
Is it?
That's why.
It's pretty cheap at $60. With those, but it's from within your own city
Right.
only.
I think he got the same. Cresco charges the same. I think that's kind of the one he looked at.
Right. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to what is it? Approve
Adopt.
ordinance or adopt ordinance 705-25.
Second. Darcy, are you ready?
Moore,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Engstrom,
Yeah.
Engelhardt,
Yes.
All right, that passes. Thank you.
and then it'll go to a second unless
Oh.
you don't want it to. You want to
I
wait second, third?
And a motion to waive second and third? All right. Second.
Who seconded?
But you're going to say, no, you hate that when you wait second and third.
I just don't agree. It's
Moore,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody,
No.
Engelhardt. I'm sorry, Ingstrom? Engelhardt. The no threw me off.
always does.
All right, that passes. Thank you. Item 20 takes us to the consent agenda. Anything in there you guys want to talk about?
Do we have to approve the curb cut?
Yep, it's part of the consent agenda. I just one comment from the treasurer clerk report. You should hopefully have 2 reports in your next packet. We're still working on reconciling with our new software. So what we found is that our old system, when they pulled the history, didn't pull the outstanding checks. And now some of those checks have come through, so we can't clear them because they're not there. And so we've been having just kind of some other issues of things that just aren't set up right. So we'll be going into another training this Thursday afternoon. So we'll be closing City Hall so that we're able to be in that training for a few hours. So hopefully we can get all the bugs worked out, that we can get everything reconciled. So you'll have 2 reports from me next month, hopefully.
How has it been moving with the library accounts to the city? Is that part of like the server and the software, or is that a good transition?
That agree.
I mean, like we moved over financial.
Yeah, that's the slow moving. It's
that's
all a
the
big
slow
learning
moving.
curve. It's all different. So
I'm sure it's been fun for either one of us.
yeah, it's been different. But yeah, we'll get there. It's just a learning curve.
And Crystal, thank you for getting the emails situated. Appreciate it. I just want to say a shout out to Chris too for taking such good notes of his daily. Well, all of the guys really, but Chris is especially for that July 2nd deal with the water leak. That sounded like it was a mess. If they hadn't had that new valve, that could have been terrible.
Yeah,
Would've.
we would have shut the whole town down.
Will there be extra street signs for the Norplex again?
So they're parking on the street.
The discussion was with you last time I knew, when you were gonna Ed Norplex called about the parking. He said that he's gonna meet with you that morning.
You did.
And
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
okay. I said, then
Yes.
hopefully the mayor will come and let me know what the discussion was. So,
Sorry.
so what was the decision? I mean, it doesn't matter to me one bit. I mean, we can get those signs out there.
So no parking police orders. Is that
I
what
didn't
we're
know where they
talking
were gonna
about
start
here?
from, though. That's what.
Well, I'm thinking it's just
I thought they were just along the
they're
highway.
talking to.
So nobody usually parks there anyway.
Right.
I mean,
So
just
there's
for a
Norfolk
special
in that?
event.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't just park in their own parking lot?
Well, they will,
Well,
but
they
they'll
will,
have
but-
more.
They're looking for overflow.
Yeah, but there's still a lot up to the north too. That big.
Well, they're going to have
open-
bouncy houses and all
Oh.
that, so they might be outside.
Yeah, so I don't know what the starting point of where they would want the parking. At.
Well, they did not. They
Okay.
did not. But if we go beyond the last house on the right and
Go north.
you go north, and then
I would go up to the. Is that a bean field this year?
Yeah.
Just go up to the part of that. That's what I was thinking too. So yeah.
I was just driving to the track field yesterday, and they had a big
Oh,
event
a
over
parade.
there, and they had or something, and they had a nice sign I've never seen before. Just said event congestion. Like to have everybody slow down because they allowed extra parking.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this before.
An easy way to handle it instead of putting up a bunch of signs.
Right. Just have people away.
So I have something that last week. First off, Sierra's doing great down Fort Dodge with the dog. Everything's going as planned. I think they're maybe a couple days ahead of schedule, which is good. What I'm wanting or requesting for the council's permission is when Sierra comes back with the dog, you're gonna get it or want to get her spaded. And but in order for that to happen, we're gonna need because right now she is in her first cycle and it's not a good. It's pretty messy.
We'll make sure.
And it'll also, yeah. It'll help. It'll help her in the long run. Yeah, I don't think you guys were planning on getting any pups out of her anytime soon.
I'm
Maria.
sure it doesn't help being at a class with other dogs either.
Right, right, exactly. They won't bring in the males. So that's what her game plan is when she comes back. She wants to get it scheduled that she can get her spaded, and then I don't know what is it now, Larry, for downtime.
I mean,
2
how
weeks
long
or
before?
2 weeks.
She's done.
2 weeks probably.
3 weeks.
Yeah, downtime.
But what about when was Sarah?
She is will be officially done 22nd of August.
So we need to make a motion to get that spade or the fixing done.
No, you just need to tell him it's okay that
Yeah.
he gets it done.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we should take care of that.
Because Sierra's done August 22nd, same day as CJ's graduation day. So,
I was just gonna say, how's he doing?
yep, he's
Big day.
Yep.
We'll be back in full force.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yep, we'll be back.
Get any hits on the car to be so.
No, I haven't. It's still sitting in the garage. I haven't even advertised it yet. I'm gonna work on that probably. Well, it's not my decision. I guess it's what you guys want to decide on. On the bids.
Did you get in?
No. We just got the car back. From being fixed. So now it's up to your council's decision on where you want to start the bids at. What lowest bid on it. So do that next month or whatever. The Charger, remember?
Motor went bad.
Motor.
Boot.
We were going to sell it, and then at the end of the month, it started making weird noises, and they said it's a new motor. So you guys decided 5,000 to get it fixed, that's what it was, I think. So now, when we do put it out for bids, what minimum you guys want to go on
As is.
as is.
We paid for, I remember the discussion now. We paid for the fixing.
Yep.
All fixed.
Yep.
We know some kind of blue book value or anything like that. I'm just saying.
Well, what is hurting every squad car out there? It's not the mileage; it's the hours, the idling time, is what hurting.
But that shouldn't be a factor now. This
No,
has got
that shouldn't be a factor
No.
anymore. No.
You're buying a pretty darn good vehicle.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying, just have it high enough.
Yeah.
Just refuse it. What year was it?
2018 with well, the body has 100,000 on it, but the motor is
Like some
clean.
kind of value for the blue book or whatever that is.
We'll put it on for next month.
Yeah.
I have a question about, we're done with that, I didn't mean to interrupt it. We done. And this is part of, I don't know if it's the money that we're paying claims on, what is Dust Busters?
Oh, it's
That's-
they
Dust
put
control.
dust control on Mott Street.
Mott Street, what's that?
Tony Osmondson does it out of West
It's Mott Street runs behind Turner Hall all the way across Maple to the dead end where Hall Roberts is.
Oh, okay, so that's, they just, okay. I
You
got
put dust control
I
on that,
understand.
yeah.
I just looked at that.
All right. Anything else on the consent agenda? That is there a motion?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Yes, ma'am. Is there a second?
I'll see.
Laura? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Those say no. Carried. Item 21, then resolution for money to pay the claims.
I move that we pay the claims.
Second,
Second.
whenever you're ready, Darcy.
Moore,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody, Ingstrom,
Yes.
Engelhardt.
Yes.
Passes. Thank you. Item 22, public comment.
I am a owner of the 108 Cherry.
Would you step in front of the microphone, please?
My name is Laura Castillo, L-A-U-R-A. I am a citizen from Postville, and my son requires permission for 108 Cherry.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you pass that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the consent agenda passes it.
It's done.
Mhm.
Okay.
It got done.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah. Anybody else?
Really quick, I'm sorry, I know it's a long meeting, and it's a random question from a community member. I had someone reach out to me that attends the Islamic Center. When DOT came in and did our sidewalks and roads and everything, they really screwed up the front of the facade on the bottom of the Islamic Center. They ripped off some of the rock. It's not real rock, I don't think, but it looks like rock walling. It's one of our nicest facades in town, quite honestly. And so if you walk by and look at the bottom, it's kind of jacked up. They asked me if there's anything I can do. I just told them to call Department of Transportation, but I'm just wondering if there's a way. I just feel like the DOT is just going to dismiss a random resident giving them a call. Is there anything we can do as a city to get them to come deal with the damage?
We've already talked to DOT and they've met with him, and it's between him and the DOT.
Okay.
It was not a city project.
Right. No,
Yeah.
we know that. But
So yeah,
it's
Yeah.
very sad.
you'll have to work it out with them.
Anybody else?
Railroad crossing up here.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
You agree with me?
Yes.
Why don't we get on the DOT's ass?
That ain't the DOT. It's the railroad.
Well, then we need to get on the railroad.
We have that.
Because it's ridiculous.
Yes. Yes. I walk by there every day. Every day. There is hardly a day that I don't pick up something that's fallen off a vehicle.
Me too.
See? Well, then it's even worse than I thought, because if you're picking it up too, I guess now there's something going on. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. And we've tried. And
You know, years ago, when Lyle Seaman was alive yet, Lyle and I dealt with the railroad. And I told Lyle, I said, you let me deal with them. Okay? I told him, what I'm going to do, if you don't do what we want, and that was in regards to the crossing.
Yep.
How the kids were killed.
Yep.
There. I said, I'll hire somebody with a welder, and we'll weld your trash. So you better do something. And they did.
Yep. Yeah.
But they're terrible to deal with. I know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we'll give you the number. Yeah.
It's got to be somebody official.
Yeah. Hey. Doesn't mean much.
Telephone mayor.
Yeah.
Anyone can say they're the mayor.
Anybody else? All right. If not, then I guess the next one's the mayor's report. I met with a group of seminary students this afternoon. And the reason they wanted me there is because of our town. They're from Dubuque, and they're all from all over the United States, these folks were. And so but before I even started to talk, they told me, or their comment was, how beautiful a town we've got. You know, and it's like, wow. I mean, I don't hear that. I don't hear that. And it's like, so you're taking a look at folks from all over the United States. They're going to seminary school, and they were together, and they came here. So that honestly, I thought, no, that was quite a statement, because they evidently have places that they're not so happy with either. You know, I mean, it's not like we're the only town that has problems. They're all over. And what it takes is folks like you to come in and say something. JT said, you see something, say something. That's what it takes. Otherwise, hey, we don't know everything.
Well, in regards to the rental property that's atrocious around town, I have told Darcy, how many times have I told you, Darcy?
Probably daily, Bob.
A lot of times, nothing ever happened.
You'd be surprised what happens.
Yeah,
I would tell you this.
you don't know all this, Bob.
Well,
Yeah.
here's what I would tell you. I think for the council, you pay attention to me too. There needs to be a fee established for these owners of this rental property. You charge them.
We talked about it.
Yeah, well, we're going.
We
But, yeah.
discussed that and we're gonna work on it.
Please do.
Mr. Mayor, can you?
It's ridiculous when you have a house
Oh,
Just
yeah.
filled
with
it.
cardboard.
Talk about what?
The tour with Norplex that you.
Oh,
Deborah
sure.
had.
You
Because I
want to
should say
take
no,
off?
no, thank you.
Not
But
at
I
all.
think it's a treasure we have.
Yeah.
People that I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yes.
You have to-
So
North-
Devora and I went to Norplex. We toured Norplex, and like Devora just got done saying, I hope everybody, if you're able to go out there for their anniversary, you need to go because of the fact that we've had 50 years of this organization there, and I think it's been an awful great thing. But Devora, it's like, you walk in there, you have no idea if you don't know what these people do. They do some stuff there. They do
on a
some stuff.
worldwide scale.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yes.
It's really worth it's incredible. It's a big treasure for us. So.
Yeah. It was a great tour, right? The boss took us on tour, right?
Yeah, very friendly.
Yeah.
When I came on council, we had a tour, and they make stuff that's in space satellites.
Yeah.
Stuff that's it's better than a ball bearing. It's more abrasion resistant.
Yep.
To be in gears or things that move in space satellites.
Yep.
They're just amazing stuff that can go on the bottom of Humvees. Stop bomb blast, IUD blasts up into the cabs of military vehicles and stuff.
Even if you don't understand what he's saying, which I didn't understand, probably 75%. But it's incredible to witness the machines working and whatever he's saying, all the specifications, it doesn't matter. But it's incredible just to look.
When
It's
it's
amazing.
on this open house, they probably won't be working, so we won't be able to see.
What day of the week is
There's
that?
tours.
Sunday?
It's Saturday.
Saturday.
I wanted to go. I'm intrigued by industry and how they take a raw product and turn it into a finished
Amazing.
product. Having worked at 3M as a college kid, it's incredible what goes into making a sponge. My mom made sponges for 20, 30 years at 3M. So industry is pretty cool,
Mhm.
and we're privileged to have industry and now another industry, and maybe we don't care for the ownership, but even what our other industry at the other end of town is doing, we're doing things here that are pretty cool for a small town.
We are. It's quite amazing. Yes.
I also think you should call up DNR Environmental Protection at Manchester and tell them to come up here and check that, whatever they're doing to that well up there. Because I don't know how we can trust them anymore.
The well out by where the turkey plant
Right.
was, it's going on. It's been drilling there forever.
Well, they're taking sand out.
Well, they're taking sand out or sand?
The well is so
Sand.
deep that it's pushing that much sand. It's plugging the pumps.
Yeah.
That
I
fine,
think they
fine
should be
sand.
looking at it and making a professional opinion on
As to what?
it, as to whether they're telling us the truth or not.
DNR is
The
aware
truth
of that
about the
well.
sand?
What?
The truth about the sand or the truth about the water quality?
If they're drilling a well,
They're not.
They're not
They're not
drilling, they're
drilling.
blowing it out.
No.
They're lifting that.
Pulling the casing out and stuff, right?
No.
Well, they're just dropping. They're dropping this pipe
Yeah.
down, and it collects the sand. I mean, it's you talk about a slow process. You see how that pile, that not a very big pile. They've been there a long time. So
So they're moving the sand from the well, then it will be better functioning.
yeah, it just eats up their pumps.
It's eating up their
Whose
pumps.
pump
Yeah.
is it?
It's their
Theirs.
Agris.
Agris.
Yeah. It's not ours.
That's their
Well,
well.
it's their well, it's not our well.
No.
Okay.
And it's on the public/commercial side. It's
Yeah.
nothing county, city, it's all state and federal.
In regards to what, I mean, are we allowed to speak to council people?
Yes, yes.
Public, in regards to what Bob was discussing, where do we go from here on something like that? I'm looking for guidance, you know,
For what?
do we call in our legal counsel? Is it something we have to agree on as a
Do you?
council what to do?
We've actually been in contact with our legal counsel. And just so you know, Agra pays us every month for that loan.
Mhm.
So we're getting payment and they're current. It's been on time. The loan is paid off in 27. I think I gave you in your report how much is left. The city's on the hook with the USDA.
Why?
And
Well, it happened. It happened in 04, Bob. Don't ask this group why.
What do you think? Do you think it's because they have a terrible credit rating? And that they needed somebody to sign the note?
I think
I just think that they,
Just before my time, was that the lure, not the allure that helped bring an industry to Postville?
I think it had to do with when there was the fish kill. Were you on council at that time, Bob?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so from what I understood, and that was all way before my time as well, the city had an agreement with Agra and Iowa Turkey that they were to treat their waste treatment. So they had those lagoons. And from what I understood, their production was more than what the lagoons could handle. Okay, so the city kept going to them saying, we can't keep up with treatment. Can you slow production? Well, that wasn't happening. The city, probably foolishly, in the agreement, it just said that they would treat their waste. So there was no guidelines. It didn't say for how long. It didn't say any of that. Well, from what I understand, a valve got opened and there was a fish kill.
I know who opened the valve. too.
Okay, so the city, Iowa Turkey, and Agra all went to court over that and paid penalties. So as part of all of that happening, then these agreements started happening. So in order for the city to be able to treat wastewater, there was an agreement with Agra and Iowa Turkey to be able to do that. So the waste treatment plant was over $10 million. So that was a $10 million project. That a portion of that was funded by the EPA. So you have federal money in that. And then the city financed the 4.5 million with the USDA. So that plant belongs to the city of Postville. However, in the agreements, we do not operate, we do not maintain. So they have their own permit. It is not under the city of Postville. So we go out there probably once a year and we make sure it is being operated and maintained. USDA also comes in about every couple of years and they do an inspection there as well, making sure it's being operated and maintained. So with Iowa Turkey, their agreements were with the lagoons. So they were going to get the lagoons. Agra was getting this waste treatment plant. While when Iowa Turkey burned, the lagoon, Agra took over Iowa Turkey's portion of those lagoons. So those lagoons for that agreement were paid off in 2015. So Agra paid off the agreements the city had on the lagoons in 2015. Then the city transferred those to Agra because for $1 because they had paid for them over a 15-year period. So this waste treatment agreement, Agra pays every month. It is paid off in February of 27. We owe probably a little under 306,000 right now is what's left. We did contact our attorney to see if Agra would pay it off early so that we could be done with it. We haven't gotten very far with that. So we have contacted our legal counsel to do that, but he has not gotten very far. Like I said, they make their payments. We pay the USDA. We're kind of just the pass-through. And in 27, when it's paid off, then the agreement, Bob's right, says you will transfer this to them for $1.
And that's something that happened in
And
2004 or whatever.
right before any of these councils' term or time. So you inherit things that other councils do that sometimes will cost you more to try and get out of than if you just
Go ahead with it.
be done with it.
Once they become the owner, any badness that happens will all become their responsibility.
Well, the
It
badness is
always
their
has.
responsibility now.
Yeah.
Even now.
It
We
has.
don't operate, we don't maintain.
Right, okay.
Now, if
So
our,
then that's up to the DNR or the EPA or whoever.
We just
To
own the building,
police
so
that
we're
thing.
just basically the landlord
We're
for
not
the building.
sheriff. We're not the sheriff, we're not the policeman. And we're not responsible for what happens to them. I can see how we could get a bad rap with the city of Postville as the owner, but in 27, we won't be the owner anymore, right?
Right, unless we can get it paid off sooner, which,
Well-
like I said, we've been trying.
Right.
I'd like to see you go in there and tell them, hey, the equipment in that plant is a city. Either you pay us for that equipment, or you cannot operate that plant anymore. Period.
Well, but they are paying, Bob. They pay every
We
month.
have a contract.
We have an agreement with them.
They've broken that contract by doing all these,
And that's where you have to see if the legal counsel says it's, if the contract's null and void or not. We don't know.
If
It's
that
your opinion
language
that
isn't
they broke it,
explicitly
and
written.
I broke it. But does that make the whole contract void?
and it's not like we can undo a contract. I mean, we can't go back and say this is not.
Not without a cost to the taxpayers. So our environmental attorney charges $350 an hour. An hour. Minimum of an hour. So, where do you
Well, it's not going to go anywhere.
no.
We're just gonna continue the way it's been, and like Darcy said, you folks inherit this.
Yes.
And we'll deal with it, and that's it. And I'm sorry to say, Bob, I don't know where you want this thing to go. You want them to leave?
it wouldn't bother me.
Well, then I guess we wouldn't even have any housing, anything to talk about here. Nothing.
It's gonna affect your school if they break the entire town eventually anyway.
Well, we'll see how that shakes out, but we can't go do this. We can't. So and I understand you being upset, but we can't do this.
So I have a quick question now. If when we pay sewer, it's for that particular sewer plant, right?
No.
No.
You're paying
It's
for
not
your
our
waste
sewer, our
treatment.
water bill.
That is your
That's the one over
city
here.
What is he
waste
saying?
treatment
You were
plant.
saying that
But we pay for part of that up there too. How much do we pay every month?
I think the agreement says like 11%, I think, of what the monthly charge is. I think it states in there 11%.
And how much has that been since the inception of this?
Well, it's been plenty.
Well, I think it's 4.5 million.
It's
So.
not that much when you consider
Well, it's just one of those things.
89%.
No, I did not. I was going, and this is why they did that. They knew that I wasn't in any physical or mental shape to protest that.
We're not.
Another thing, it was not two people on the council, it was you and four others. So if you would have been the only one that voted no, or.
Well, I can tell you this.
Did you try, Bob? Did you try hard enough? You were 20 years younger back then. Did you try hard enough?
I was going through depression at that time.
Well, that's we're going beyond here.
Yeah.
We need to get this.
Today, our responsibility is to the taxpayers of today.
Yeah.
And we can't renege on that now and have it cost that much more. This attorney at that rate would cost
More
that
than
much
it
more.
No, I wouldn't. We're paying for it anyway.
No, we're not. If we don't call them, we don't pay them.
Is there a motion?
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
I'll say no. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Lord, don't leave. JT's got to talk to you.
You want